Welcome back to another video of the Everyday Actuarial series. For those who are new to this channel, I am Ananya Agarwal and I have cleared 6 out of 13 actuarial papers. So the first question that comes to our mind is, what is a qualified actuary? A qualified actuary is the one who has been considered qualified or given a credential or gained a recognition from a professional body. This may be the IFoA or the SOA or the IAI. We will be talking about the different actuarial bodies from different countries in the next video. But here we talk about what does qualified actually mean. If you have cleared 10 actuarial papers, say from the IFoA, and have gained 2 years of work experience, then you are qualified as an associate of the Institute of Actuaries. And similarly, if you have cleared 13 papers and met the work requirements, which is 3 years, and the other requirements, for example, the continuous learning requirement, which we'll talk about in the next few seconds, is when you become a fellow of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. Now, let's see each paper in detail. In stage 1, under the core principle series, the first paper we have is the CM series, where we have CM1, which is like a lengthy paper which introduces us to actuarial mathematics, actuarial techniques of modeling survival. It is like a very basic introduction, but we learn about new things, profit testing models, etc. It also has Excel along with it. So it's not just a completely number based or sum based paper where you just have to solve questions about it. The second paper in the CM series is CM2. Now this is particularly a very interesting paper because it covers investment, it covers the pricing of derivatives, it also covers some basics of reserving. So it's a very interesting paper. Most people find it really interesting. The next series is the CS series. Now under CS, we have CS1, which is based on actuarial statistics. We have the basics of actuarial statistics, for example, the confidence intervals, hypothesis testings, probability distribution. This is a very short and very easy paper. Normally, people are able to easily understand the concepts in this paper. And the next one in this series is the CS2. Now CS2 is based on stochastic modeling, it is based on survival models, it also introduces us to transition probabilities. There are different new concepts that are covered in CS2. Now this may be particularly a challenging paper for many, but if you are consistent and if you work hard, I think it's a really interesting paper. The last one in this series is the CB papers. Now here in CB1, we have business finance, which is based on the basics of accounting. We learn about the cash flow the cash flow statement, etc. in this. There's also different things about business, for example, the weighted average cost of capital or the cost of capital or all those things, debt equity ratios and everything. Now the next paper is CB2, which is business economics. Now here we understand economics, basically demand and supply, how they interact and what effect it has on the market, the exchange rates or the effect of different kinds of situation on the economy, for example a pandemic occurring, supply shocks on the international markets as well as on a national economy. We also learn about national income, what are the methods of calculating it, and about different things, who will be considered a resident when we'll calculate national income. So it's a really interesting paper. And for somebody who has studied commerce or has studied economics, these will be very easy. The last paper in this stage 1 is the CB3 paper. It is like an online team-based examination where you have to solve like real world problem. This is also a very easy paper. As I mentioned previously, R and Excel are two important parts that are covered in the curriculum. And so it is not completely theoretical. You have to understand and learn R programming as well as Excel. And it is really important because you use them in your everyday life as an actuary. Now, the next series is stage 2, which is the core practice stage. The first paper here is the CP1, which is a very lengthy paper, but it is also one of the most interesting papers. Now here, whatever you studied previously, here maths will disappear and whatever you studied previously will be applied here. Now this will be based on real world problems and real world scenarios, and it is quite an interesting paper, although it has one of the largest syllabus in the curriculum. Like it's a really large syllabus, but it is a very interesting paper. The next paper is CP2, which is called the modeling practice. Now this is based on Excel based model where you have to create, document, understand those models. And the last one is CP3, which is communication practice. Here you are given an audience and you are to explain technical things that only actuaries understand or that are difficult to people who are not from an actuarial background to them without using actuarial jargons. So effectively, this is a paper that tests the knowledge of how well you communicate. Like, it's about the real world working of actuaries. So the core practice series prepares you for the real world, to face the real world and to face the real problems that actuaries face. Now the later part, the specialist advanced papers and the specialist principal papers. Now this is a tricky thing to understand, because here you will see a variety of papers, like 7-8 papers, but you don't have to clear them all based on the field that you're working in. For example, for life insurance, you will have to clear papers that have the knowledge of life insurance, and you'll only have to clear 2 specialist principal papers and 1 specialist advanced papers based on your specialization, whatever you want to acquire, or based on the domain that you're working in. So this makes it a total of 13 papers. Now, as we discussed, papers itself are not enough to qualify as an actuary. You will need at least 2 years of work experience in the actuarial industry to be an associate after clearing those 10 papers, and at least 3 years to be a fellow of any institute. For example, the Institute and Faculty of Actuary, which is a UK body. Okay, so it's really important that you start working as soon as you get the opportunity and start looking for internships or a full-time role as and when you graduate. You will also have to study for these actuarial exams alongside either work, where you will be either be a part of an internship or a full-time role, or your college, which is your undergraduate studies. Now this can become particularly challenging for people who are not disciplined and who do not study daily. Although for full-time roles, there is study support that is provided. For example, study leaves are provided when your exams are approaching, etc. But it is really important to at least study 2 hours per day and to maintain a disciplined schedule so that you can qualify as soon as you can. To answer how long it takes to qualify as an actuary, you will first have to understand at what speed are you ready to progress in your exams. For somebody who only appears for 1 exam per year, the progress will obviously be slower than somebody who appears for 3 exams in a year. So it's very important to plan your exams alongside whatever plan you have for your qualification. Now, this is a very common misconception that actuaries only work in insurance. And sometimes I have seen people with the misconception that actuaries only work in a certain type of insurance. To clarify, there are various domains that actuaries work in. They work in insurance, life insurance, general insurance, health insurance, but they also work in other fields such as pensions, investment and asset management, consulting, data analytics, risk management, asset management, banking, and there are other new domains that actuaries are constantly entering in. So there are various domains that actuaries work in, and you can choose any one based on whatever meets your profile. There is no perfect degree to pursue alongside actuaries if you are not pursuing a BSc in actuarial science itself. Now, many people opt for a BCom or an analytical or a numerate degree, for example, an economics honors or a maths honors. Now, the choice first depends upon where do your interests lie. Do you want to pursue a bachelor's in commerce alongside actuaries, and do you want to gain exposure to other fields such as income tax and other things? Or do you want a degree that aligns well with the actuarial syllabus? In that case, economics honors is a very good choice, because under economics honors, whatever you will be studying will be somewhat similar to whatever you've been studying in actuarial science, although there won't be a 100% match. This also depends upon the choice of your college. For example, what courses are popular in that college, or what college are you going to. We will also make... For pursuing your career in actuarial science, you will have to enroll as a part of a recognized professional body. Now, the most popular ones in India are the IFoA, which is a UK-based body. It stands for Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, or the IAI, which is the Institute of Actuaries of India. It is an Indian body for actuarial science. And the third one that is gaining more popularity with time is the SOA, that is the Society of Actuaries from North America. Now the choice of this professional body will be crucial. It will be dependent upon the fee structure, the eligibility, what is the exam structure, etc. And this is something that we'll talk about in detail in the next video, where I come up with a comparison video of the two most popular professional bodies in India, which is the IFoA and the IAI. So until then, goodbye.